Welcome to Dan the Cleaning Man channel, where we help you build and grow a successful commercial
All
cleaning
right,
business.
moving on to janitorial work often goes unnoticed, but it's essential. How do you motivate, inspire employees to feel pride in their work?
Um, I think again, it's about building relationships, and uh, from the standpoint of whether we're talking about an operations manager or if we're talking about a crew member that's actually doing the cleaning, they have to understand, and it starts with good hiring to begin with,
That's correct.
and hiring the right people. You have to hire people that care. That is the most important part, is hiring people that actually care about other people. And the second part of that is hire people that are loyal. And loyalty, uh, loyalty is not like respect. You can't earn loyalty. Somebody's loyal because they're a loyal person, not because you can earn. There's nothing you can do to earn someone's loyalty. Either they're a loyal person or they're not. You can earn respect and not loyalty. So I think that's, somebody really has to have empathy and care, and they have to have that loyalty component. And once you get them hired, it's really about making sure they understand how everything looks from the client's perspective, and how the client feels about their cleaning, how the client feels when they have a good cleaning, how the client feels when they have bad cleaning, and understanding all the nuances of, this is a reflection on us. The quality of your work reflects on you as an operational manager. If if the crew is doing a bad job, the client doesn't care. If you're the operations manager and you're in front of them, you can't put it on the crew. You can't walk in there and say, "Man, I am so sorry that the crew didn't clean your bathrooms last night." They don't care. It's your fault. You got to own it and say, "I am so sorry. I didn't take care of you the way you needed to be taken care of. I apologize. I'm going to handle this personally. It's my fault. I am going to handle this, and I'm going to get on top of it." They don't want to hear about your crew. At the same time, or you may have this conversation with the crew too, and say, "Look, you've got to understand it from our client's point of view." Um, but all of that's a moot point if you don't hire well to begin with, and hire people to care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, moving on. Um, can you share an example of a recent innovation in your company has adopted that's made a big impact on operations or customer satisfaction?
I would say, well, a couple of things come to mind. We have a recruiting team now, and um, it's not just me trying to do it all by myself. In the end, we, as a team, we've been trying to really refine what I used to do into something that's more more of a process, with rules and SOPs and trained employees, and kind of get it out of my head and on paper where other people can do what I do, and even refine and build on what I used to do it better than me, I hope. And I think that's made a huge impact. I think the quality, I think the quality across the board in every building that we have has improved by creating a recruiting process and bringing in more recruits. Our vetting process is a multi-person process now. It goes through, it really goes through 3 to 4 people. Each recruited, cleaner goes through 3 or 4 people before they actually get to the building. And at any point, somebody could see a red flag and decide if they want them to move forward, and they're just going to watch it carefully, or if they're just going to say no go. And I think what that's done is really improve the quality of cleaners that we're getting. Of course, we're also getting a huge uptick in volume in cleaners. So whether it's multi-unit or multi-tenant or single tenant, or we're talking about the North Texas area, or Houston, or wherever that is, I think there's been a huge improvement in our pool of talent because of this kind of new recruiting process. Um, We've also added different ways recently for our clients to reach out to us. We used to, especially in single tenant, it used to be really all about the operations manager getting out in the field and getting in front of the people. And there's no substitute for that. You still have to do it, but we're giving our clients new ways to reach out to us with customer portals online, through our website, through texting, through dedicated phone lines and a help desk. And I think it's really too early to tell exactly what the benefits are going to be of that and how big of the benefits going to be. But we can already see that's definitely going to be the way of the future, is making sure that there are those multiple ways for them to contact us and reach out and touch us. So I think that's going to be important. We just don't have it on paper where we can grade that process yet. But the larger of the two is definitely having a solid recruiting process. The uptick in quality has just been immense.
So, and one thing, since I know a little bit of, we kind of work together, would you say the virtual assistant piece is taking a nice innovative approach and keeping things productive and moving forward within the operations?
Yeah, the virtual assistant. So I think in a lot of larger companies, whether it's janitorial or otherwise, you'll have a few people scattered about the office that are really good at a lot of different things, or they're really good at their job. And now we've been able to kind of take those people off site where they're doing it remotely, from a different, it may be a different room, it may be a different state, it may be a different country, but having those remote people that they're doing traditional roles that were always there, but they're doing it. It's less expensive, it's less overhead. They're out there, often out working and outperforming some of our in-office people, and it's turning out to be. It's not really. I wouldn't call it an innovation, but I would say that having that type of employee out there doing doing those jobs, and in many cases being able to multitask better than our in-office people. It certainly has been something that has changed the face of our office and the way we work. Certainly, that's that's a really multifaceted improvement in a lot of different ways.
It streamlined it. It streamlined it.
It really streamlined it, and I think when you have in-office people tend to get in a rut. This is my job. That's not my job, and they compartmentalize quite a bit. With the virtual assistants, you really can get people to become more of a jack of all trades and do a lot of different jobs. And when you find something that needs to be taken care of, and you go, oh my gosh, I got this thing. We got to add this to our repertoire. You can reach out to them and say, hey, we need to do this. What do you think? And they're like, I'm ready. Let's do it. And they're just enthusiastic about it. And they just add it to what they're already doing. And we just move on down the road. Now we're doing something new and it's working great. And sometimes that's hard to do in the office.
Right. Yeah. All right. So what advice would you give to someone looking to build a career in operational management in the service-based industry like janitorial?
This kind of circles back to where we started. It really doesn't matter. Most industries, it's still about people, and you have to be able to manage people, train people, build a rapport with people, and build that mutual respect. So I'd say for anybody in any industry, whether it's janitorial or anything else, personal growth is really important, especially when you add the word management to anything. You grow by growing yourself. You've got to learn leadership, and you've got to learn how to deal with people, and you've got to learn all the little different things about finessing those relationships and building those relationships. I would say for me, and I like to read. So for me, it's about reading, going, deep diving into things like John Maxwell's leadership series, or Simon Sinek is probably my favorite. I think Leaders Eat Last is one of my all-time favorite books. But there's a lot of other things out there too. But you've really got to get a handle on leadership and building relationships. And there's lots of great books out there that can help you do that. If you're not a book kind of person, there's audio books out there. There's a lot of different training platforms as far as going out and getting on YouTube or get into a specific leadership training platforms. A lot of them aren't terribly expensive, and really learning to grow yourself as a leader. I think it's really important. And the second part of that is learn how to build relationships. We go through our lives thinking that we have relationships, so we must be doing okay. But building relationships, really strong relationships, especially with people that you're not real personal with. It's a client or it's a crew member. That can be a little bit different. It's a little trickier, and there's a lot of moving parts to that. So it's definitely worth training yourself with outside training materials. Definitely.
100%. Third party. And I've been talking to a lot of colleagues that we work together at Blockbuster. We just and I'm sure you got a lot of training opportunities at Walmart of some pace there was some kind of development there at Walmart. I know Blockbuster provided it. So but yeah, that personal development, you got to continue to grow with it.
Yeah,
And
and you can't. Even though yes, I mean, places like Walmart and where we are now, we have a development training program, but the best training program. First of all, these training programs are often meant for lots of varied people, so they can be very superficial, and they can be very high schooly and very it
correct.
may or may not help you a whole lot. You have to really care and cultivate that enough. You have to care enough yourself to cultivate it in yourself. So even if your business offers you nothing, you have to care enough to go out and cultivate your own growth and your own training and your own and leadership. You got to do that yourself. You have to really care about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Better yourself. So what's a leadership lesson you've learned the hard way and how it shaped your approach to managing teams?
Oh gosh. I'll say that my previous two industries, I mostly had to work with people. The people that worked for me didn't want to be there, didn't care. I didn't hire them, uh, and they were people that they just didn't want to work.
Right.
And managing those sorts of people is one skill. It's a skill set, and there's a lot of turnover. It's very matter of fact. It's very raw, and gosh, you're almost forced to be really harsh, um, because everything becomes a matter of fact. Look, I know you don't want to be here, and a lot of these people don't want to be here today. You have to do this, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and if you're going to skip Z every day, then you just can't work here anymore. It's very tough, and you go through, hundreds or even thousands of people in my case that just it's a grind. It really, really is. Coming into this industry, um, you do get an opportunity to work with smaller groups and people that actually care. And so that was a really hard transition for me, was to learn that other skill set to work with people that do care, people that do want to do well, and they want to grow, and it's hard to break some of those old management habits from working with people that want to. And I know there's been a lot of times that I've been really too dry, really too harsh, and very, just, my way or the highway. And I really had to tone it down a lot, and, learn how to give it a spoonful of sugar, look at it from their perspective, and recognize when it's somebody that really, really does care and then work with them on that level, and give them positive feedback for being great to work with. You know, it all those people that were very difficult for me to work with because they just didn't want to be there, they didn't want to work. And you get these new kind of people that are actually self-motivated and they want to be here. You really have to praise them for that because they're really special people and they're so much more enjoyable to work with. And but yeah, that was the biggest change, was trying to work with that different kind of mindset.
Right. And I noticed that in the previous business, it was more the payday loan business that, well, I really had to bite my tongue, be patient, and sit back and try to build a relationship to move the needle with these individuals. But yeah,
Yeah.
that is one of the biggest challenges.
I hate to say it. I mean, because I mean, there's a place for everyone, and there's a but still, working in the Walmart, and then before that, the grocery industry. Um, yeah, there's so many employees that are just disposable, and it's just a revolving door. And then your
Yeah.
coworkers are disposable, and it's just a revolving door. And your bosses, it's just, they're just changing constantly. It's a revolving door. It can be very disheartening, and it. You can get real jaded and calloused really, really quick.
Yeah.
And that environment's not for me. I don't. It definitely brought out the worst in me, I would say, and so I'm glad to be away from that, and then, be in a situation now that I get to work with people who care,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So looking ahead, where do you see the janitorial industry heading into the next 5 to 10 years? And what role will the operational leaders play in shaping that future, you believe?
I think this is I don't know, and the reason why I say that is, there's been just an absolute upheaval of change in the last 5 years, 6 years. I would say since 2018, and then definitely that upheaval really accelerated during COVID. And I think every company out there is trying to figure out, what it looks like going forward when everything has transitioned into more of a brick and mortar world, and then we've got the economy and the inflation and labor is going up, and all these new technologies, and we have to consider, sustainability and green products, and our client base is getting more diverse, and our company has single tenant, multi-tenant, multi-unit, and institutional, and it, I I don't know. We're in such a transitionary period right now that I'm not sure where the industry as a whole is going to go, except I think, definitely there's going to be a much greater reliance on technology and software to help us manage situations, manage our clients, manage our crews, manage our recruiting, manage every piece of the business. And that's going to cut down on, our labor costs and our overhead for sure. I think it's just absolutely a necessary component. I think that, sustainability, I don't have a whole lot of faith in green products yet. But I know that some clients do want those, and especially in the multi-tenant world. So I'm grateful that there are so many companies out there that are providing those products for us, and we have that available in our toolkit. I think I'm seeing a lot of consolidation, though. I just got back from the EFMA convention in San Antonio, and it was huge. It was, I don't know, 10 or 12 acres of facility management companies and people that support facility management. And out of all the companies there, I would say there was only one or two standalone janitorial companies there. All the rest of them were facility management companies that had added janitorial to their portfolio. Some of them bought janitorial companies and then folded them into their facility management company. Others tried to build one, an internal company ground up. I really think that that may be one of the places that the industry is headed. Um, if that's the case, I think multi-tenant and large single tenant, like Class A and Class B buildings, a lot of that business, that janitorial business, may start going to facility management companies instead of janitorial companies. I think single tenant, smaller single tenant, and multi-unit, I don't know that those are going to always. Yeah, I think those are still, anybody can work those. I don't think they're going to be facility management specific. I think there's always going to be a wide range of people servicing those parts of the market. But I do think that the larger buildings, I think, are going to start all going to facility management companies, and it's going to be harder and harder for the standalone janitorial companies to compete in that niche.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Scott, because we briefly talked about that what you saw down at the trade event, and the Class A buildings. I'm not 100% sure they'll go that route, but the Class B, C buildings, I certainly see that being a strong possibility in the future. But that's man, that's some valuable insights and experience you shared from recruiting to virtual assistants to green cleaning and I wasn't going to touch on the green cleaning, but you brought it up. But the green cleaning is more surrounding the multi-tenant world, not so much in the single tenant world. You do have some requests there, but not as prominent like the multi-tenant
Well,
business.
it's gonna be part of our future because there are those tenants, and many of them are our larger buildings. Those big buildings, the multi tenants and Class A, B, C buildings. Those types of buildings, we're going to have more and more of those, and so we do have to make ourselves familiar with those products and find the best solutions there for those.
Absolutely. And we got to continue to the work, the technology, the AI, I mean, we got to keep up with the times. We got to be innovative. We can't just paint ourselves in a box. We always got to make sure we can work around that box if it is presented to us that way. So, but hey, Scott, I know you're getting real close to that crunch time. I really appreciate your time, your insights, valuable insights. I think the audience is going to enjoy watching this. So thank you so much. And we will catch you on the next one. Keep it clean out there.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching Dan the Cleaning Man channel.